Continuing to episode 6, just before Yamato beheaded Adonis, Daroka, who had grown weary, shouted for them to stop all of this. Strangely, Yamato and the other human warriors completely halted. Yamato couldn't move his own body. It appeared that Daroka wasn't just shouting, she was using her magic, the magic of love, restraint. Daroka then approached Yamato, the leader of this troop. The other warriors were powerless to stop Daroka. Yamato felt incredibly strange because he was following Daroka's commands. He never expected there was such dangerous magic. Other surviving witches saw an opportunity for life if Daroka used her magic. However, many of them felt it was too late for Daroka to do so. Meanwhile, Yamato struggled with all his might to free himself from the influence of the love magic, but it seemed very difficult to do so. On the other side, Adonis became ecstatic and told Daroka to quickly finish off Yamato. Then, Daroka reached out her hand to the still resisting Yamato. She asked to end the war and make peace. She also instructed Yamato to truly say that they would not fight again. She then made a request not to hunt witches and Adonis anymore. If Yamato complied, Daroka would release her magic. However, it seemed that Adonis did not accept the peaceful path Daroka requested. He reminded Daroka that Anna had been killed by these humans. After seeing so many of their kind killed, he shouldn't let humans live and return to Earth. The surviving witches agreed with his words. Adonis also declared that if Daroka didn't kill Yamato now, she would be the one to die. Suddenly, Yamato regained the ability to move freely and repeatedly struck Daroka. He also felt vengeance and did not want peace with the witches. Yamato stated that witches were bringers of misfortune who caused unrest and chaos. So many innocent people died tragically because of magic. If there was no magic, Yuki's body wouldn't have turned out like that. Daroka, who had been resigned to being beaten, suddenly said that humans were just the same. They had killed many innocent people. Examples include the witch hunts 10 years ago and the events of today. Daroka wondered, even though humans had scientific power and could stand on their own, humans and witches shouldn't kill each other. Daroka still hoped that Yamato would end this war. It seemed that at that moment, Daroka used her magic again. Yamato found it difficult to hit her again. He truly didn't understand the feelings of love within himself. Despite trying his best to resist, in the end, Yamato succumbed. He said he would obey all of Daroka's words. However, at the same time, Adonis approached and immediately split Yamato's head. For Adonis, there was no word for peace. He only wanted revenge. Nevertheless, he acknowledged that Daroka's magic was indeed very strong. Adonis asked Daroka to help him eradicate humanity with that magic. Meanwhile on Earth, a member of the Security Bureau is reporting the events on the moon to Emperor Goth. The member reports that Bureau Chief Yamato and his troops are currently fighting witches, but they don't know the situation as the forces on the moon cannot be contacted. Empress Kesa Gothi asks if Adonis, the witch's disciple, is also there. The member responds that it is highly likely. Emperor Goth sees this as a great opportunity to burn the witches once again, along with the moon. He laughs with great satisfaction and boasts. Emperor Goth suddenly desires validation and praise from his empress. He hugs his empress and acts very affectionate. The member is surprised by Emperor Goth's behavior. He had heard rumors that the emperor was unwell, but the person he sees now is like a madman. Suddenly, the empress responds to the member's unease as if she knows what he's thinking. Meanwhile, Emperor Goth continues to express love and asks to be praised by the empress while sticking out his tongue. And at that moment, we are shown that the empress is actually a witch using a love spell. Because Emperor Goth has worked hard, the empress allows him to die. Without hesitation, Emperor Goth slowly advances towards the edge of the palace balcony. The member is, of course, confused about what Emperor Goth is doing. The emperor declares that he will grant all the empress's requests. As long as she is happy, his own life is not important. Then, Emperor Goth climbs the balcony railing and jumps to his death. The emperor dies pierced by the sharp roof of the building. After Emperor Goth dies, the empress finally releases the influence of her love spell. The member immediately realizes what is happening. The empress is a witch who enchanted Emperor Goth. He immediately calls for reinforcements at headquarters to fight the witches. Unfortunately, the member is also immediately enchanted by the love spell. He ends up giving a false report that the emperor slipped and died on his own. With just one spell, the member falls in love and is willing to follow whatever the Empress says. After that, the Empress summons one of her subordinates. Yes, surprisingly, that person is Shirusagi, the head of the Intelligence Bureau. Shirusagi didn't expect the Emperor to be killed today, but he also agrees that the puppet is no longer needed. At that moment, the Empress explains her magic. The love spell can only control men and is not effective against women. That's why witches are a threat to her. She eliminates all threats first by controlling the country from within. However, the Empress's goal is not to conquer the world. At that moment, the Empress removes her face cover and reveals her true form. She is Dorothea, a witch who travels across dimensions, and it seems that Dorothea's aim is to get that man back. Dorothea keeps many photos of that man, and for some reason, his face resembles Adonis a bit. Even Dorothea keeps a feather pen that looks a bit like Adonis. Meanwhile on the moon, Adonis is still trying to force Doroka to help him exterminate humanity. Doroka continues to reject him. Eventually, Adonis decides to eliminate the remaining human warriors while they are still under the influence of the love spell. Due to Doroka's magic, they also die without being able to do anything. However, Doroka truly doesn't want to use her magic. She doesn't want her magic to be used for violence, but now she is forced to use her magic on Adonis. However, Doroka decides not to do it due to Adonis' provocation. Finally, Doroka tries to stop Adonis with sweet words. She says she won't change anything even if he continues to kill. His revenge will only breed new hatred. However, Adonis is fed up with cliché reasons like that. Doroka states that she can't bear to see both sides continue to fight like this. She doesn't want to witness so many lives lost before her eyes again. Adonis still doesn't listen and continues to kill the remaining human warriors. What he desires is the death of all humanity as an apology. After that, Adonis returns to Yamato's corpse and takes his smartphone. He also tears Yamato's face and uses magic to mimic Yamato's voice. Then, at the headquarters, they are still in panic because they can't get any news from the forces on the moon. Honestly, they don't believe that everything sent has been destroyed. After all, the Elite Security Bureau forces were sent, including Bureau Chief Yamato. Suddenly, there is a power outage at the headquarters. At that moment, the headquarters receives a signal from the personal terminal of one of the warriors on the moon. Using the remaining energy, they display the source of that signal on the screen. They are very relieved because the one contacting them is Bureau Chief Yamato. He reports that his troops have achieved victory. He requests an immediate report to the Emperor that all the witches on the moon have been annihilated. Unfortunately, the battle was too brutal, and humanity also lost many warriors. Yamato informs them that all the warriors have died except for him. Therefore, Yamato requests to be returned to Earth alone, without sending reinforcements again. At that moment, Head of Science Bureau Theta realizes that the one speaking is not Yamato. After the call, Adonis immediately discards the face of Yamato that he had just used. Lady Ophelia, who was on the brink of death, did not expect that this was Adonis's plan from the beginning. He would disguise himself as one of the warriors he baited and escape from the Witch Kingdom. Adonis still forces Doroka to accompany him. He wants to use Doroka's magic to assist him. Suddenly, Doroka slaps Adonis's face. She didn't expect Adonis to be this cruel. Who knows what Chloe would think if she saw Adonis in his current state? Shortly afterward, there is a teleportation particle surrounding the two of them. In that moment, Lady Ophelia bids farewell to Adonis, the evilest human child. She hopes that the gods will punish him. Lady Ophelia also apologizes for failing to fulfill the expectations of the remaining witches. She can no longer restore the glory of the witches, and now Lady Ophelia is about to leave this world, especially this ruined kingdom. During the teleportation process, Adonis in his true self seems to feel a bit guilty towards the witches for this situation. Meanwhile, the headquarters is arranging for the teleportation from the moon to Earth to be successful. However, thanks to the suspicion from Head of Science Bureau Theta, they are on alert to shoot at the figure emerging from the teleportation. Theta promises to avenge Yamato. Once the teleportation transmission is complete, the warriors without hesitation shoot towards the teleportation device.